what is up, Michigan? Welcome to the final episode of the In The Dugout podcast for the 2023 high school baseball season. My name's Lauren Plant. This podcast presented by the Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association of Michigan. It's the final week of the season, and if you would have told me that in Division I, not a single ranked team would be remaining as we headed into the state semifinals, I would have told you were crazy, but here we are. So today on the show, I'm joined by the head coach at Mattawan, Brett Vaughn. Good to have you on the program, sir.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
All right. So what a run this has been for Mattawan. So you guys finished 7th in the Southwestern Michigan Athletic Conference. However, you were state quarterfinalists a year ago, so you were coming off a good postseason. Really tough regular season. You, like a lot of the coaches that we've interviewed this week, you guys schedule tough because, again, it doesn't matter how you begin, it's how you finish. You need to be battle-tested and ready because I would argue that the baseball tournament run is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult, tournament to have to get through and able to get to the finals considering the competition that you face, and it's win or go home every single game. But what you've done is also smart because all you guys have proceeded to do is knock off with a convincing win a team that previously had your number, and that was number 17 Portage Northern. You go on to beat number 6 Zeeland East. Now you had some quality victories over ranked teams all season. Bottom line, you're in the Final Four. Do you feel the team is playing its best baseball right now?
Definitely. I think we're playing our best ball right now. We've worked really hard to get to where we are, and all season long we've been preaching to the kids about just execution, and we're finally to a point right now where we're executing very well. We're hitting the ball really well. We've been led by our pitching all season long, and our pitching has just been phenomenal all year. And now finally, with about a week left in the season, we started to put it all together, hit the ball, execute some bunts and some key situations, and we've just been able to, like you said, we scheduled really hard on the season, and our plan is, just like last year, our plan was to prepare ourselves for the postseason, and that was the best way we knew how to do it was to schedule some difficult opponents and see some really good pitching. And it's finally just, it's very similar to last year. What we did with our quarterfinal run last year is we've kind of caught on at the end of the season. It just takes us a while to get warmed up, and our spring break is kind of goofy at the beginning of the year, so we don't share a spring break with a lot of the schools in our conference. So we end up playing our first game was our first league game where Portage Central had played 6 games or 7 games already at that point. We're playing game 1, so
right.
It's tough to get us to that point, but we've worked all season long to get to where we are.
Yeah, and there's no doubt the weather was ridiculous early in the summer, which made things very, very inconvenient for a lot of teams as you were trying to get some sort of consistency. But maybe you could talk about a little bit about the makeup of this team as a whole, what you really like about this group, especially during these last couple of weeks, and just talk about maybe some of the guys that are leading the way for you this postseason have really stepped up big for you.
Sure. Like you said, we've come on here at the end, and we've had a lot of guys step up here towards the end of the season. And it's a very senior dominant group, but last year's group was a very senior dominant group, and we just kind of reloaded and reset. And right now, our pitching, we're led by Brendan Garza right now, who's thrown he's had the opportunity to start every game of the postseason so far, and that's not because we only have one pitcher, but because we have had that opportunity with being, the scores of some of the games have allowed us that opportunity to get them out early and be able to throw them in the next game, and, watching those pitch counts for the MHSAA and that kind of stuff. So he's really kind of led us on the mound all season. He's led us, but in this postseason, he's really been kind of the catalyst for everything. He's got a .9 ERA right now in the postseason, and he's been able to start all 6 games in the postseason so far. And So it's been kind of an interesting dynamic there. As a team during the regular season, we batted around, we were in the 290s, I think, for the season. 293, I think, was our team batting average during the season. And, in the postseason, we're at 393, I think, right now. And we're really hitting the ball really well. And fortunately, in all 6 games, we've been able to, keep our lineup consistent. We've had the same lineup every single game of the postseason with the same guys in the same positions, just because of that opportunity that Garza has allowed us to have by, and our offense allowing us to jump out front early in games. And that's kind of been our big jumping off point, is we've been able to jump out early in games and score in the first and second inning, and then really start to put some pressure on other teams, and offensively, Garza's led us on offensively as well. We've had some, right now we've got guys that have stepped up that, didn't have maybe the greatest regular seasons. We've got Ian Boucher has stepped up in the postseason, batting over 400. Garza's batting over 400. Jackson Ingles, our leadoff hitter, is really hitting really well right now. And, all season long we were led by really, Connor Walsh led us offensively. And, as maybe he struggled a little bit in the postseason, the rest of the team's really picked him up. And it's been a really great year. Like I said, we're senior dominant, but we've got, 4 great captains on this team, 3 seniors and a junior, and Connor Walsh is kind of our go-to leader during the season. And he's kept the team in line and kept us, moving forward just with the other 3 captains that we have. And it's just been, it's just kind of all come together here at the end. And this is, I've told the kids for, it's been 2 years now that we may not have won our conference, but we're preparing for the postseason, because that's what we're working towards. And their goal last year was to make it to Michigan State. We didn't really talk about that as being a finite goal this year, but we got to make it this year, and hopefully we can continue that run.
Yeah, absolutely. And knock on wood, you've been able to stay, having that consistent lineup is so huge. Staying healthy, having these guys available for you is, can make a big difference. We're talking with Mattawan head coach Brett Vaughn as his team has advanced to the Division I state semifinals. This is only your second season with Mattawan, correct, as the head coach?
Correct, yep. I've been, I was over on the east side for a long time. I've kind of run the gamut. I was an athletic director for 8-9 years, and then I had the opportunity. I was an athletic director at Bloomingdale prior to this position, right. And I had that opportunity to jump over, and it was in my local school district. My kids go to Mattawan, so it was just a really unique opportunity last year. So I stepped back from my AD position, and I went back on the baselines and in the dugout, and it's been a great ride. I took over a program that Coach Joe did a great job with the program prior to me arriving, and I just got to kind of take it to the next level. And like I said, the last 2 years have been a great ride, and hopefully we can continue, like I said.
Can you talk a little bit about your background, Brett? Like, where'd you grow up and play in high school?
Sure. I played baseball at Milford High School over there in Oakland County, and graduated in 97, and then I went up to Grand Valley. I didn't play baseball in college. I tried out at Grand Valley the first year I was there. I unfortunately didn't make it, but in about 2003, I helped Coach Tidy there over at who's at Davenport now. I helped him over at Sparta when I did my student teaching, and nice. I absolutely fell in love. It was, the reason I went into what I went into the teaching profession because I really wanted to coach, and right. That was kind of my big passion. So in 03, when I got back from college in Grand Valley, I got the opportunity to be the freshman coach at Milford with Jason Melanchek, who's up in Flushing as the principal. And nice. I got the opportunity to work with him, and I ended up staying there for 8 years. I was 4 years as the head coach at Milford, and then I had the opportunity to take a teaching job over on the far east side, over in Macomb, and I took over at Lakeview and St. Clair Shores, and was there for a couple of years. And then I kind of not that I got out of the coaching realm, but I had that opportunity to get an athletic directing position, and I did that, and along the way, and coached for a few more years after that. And then, like I said, this position opened up last year, and I just had that opportunity, and I had a relationship with Mr. Yeager and talked to him about it, and it was a great opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. I've coached been a few different places. I coached basketball at Fowlerville for a few years, and wow. So I've been around.
I remember that.
Yeah, so Fred Hackett over at Fowlerville, he's my cousin, so he was the head coach there at Fowlerville for a few years, and so I ran through that with him for a few years, and then I'm obviously super passionate about baseball, and just like I said, it was just a very unique opportunity to be here and work with these kids, and I've got the opportunity to put this great coaching staff together. My 3 assistant coaches are awesome. We get along really well, and it's a very unique opportunity. No matter where you are, there's always different personalities and stuff, especially in those leadership positions. And I'm fortunate to have an awesome coaching staff that we work really well together, and we kind of feed off each other. So it's been a great ride to keep the same assistant coaches I had last year, and then have the opportunity to add a new assistant this year. And my JV and my freshman coaches are really, really good and do a great job following through with everything and making our program as successful as it has been the last couple of years.
You've had a unique journey that you've been able to coach and be involved in high school athletics as a coach and AD and other things around the state. In your corner of the state, the baseball's big. Right, it's great, and again, I think it's a testament that teams that come out of your area that get as far as the state semifinals are because you play such great competition. Not everybody realizes that.
For sure, our district, our conference is probably one of the tougher conferences in the state. I've had the opportunity to coach in the KLAA or KVC or whatever it was called when I went through, and I had the opportunity to coach in the MAC in Lakeview, and go through have to play districts with Grosse Pointe South, Grosse Pointe North, and when I was at Milford, I was in that district with at that time was it was Heartland, Clarkston. Holly, I think, was in that district. So I've always been in these really tough districts, and it's been really hard to get out. And now being with Portage Northern and Portage Central, and obviously Battle Creek Lakeview is really good, and Lakeshore is really solid, and so we get to see a lot of good teams. And then obviously we travel 45 minutes north up to Grand Rapids, and we get that opportunity to play some. We got to play Granville this year. We got to play Forest Hills Eastern that second to last week of the season. We got to play a lot of those ranked teams, like you said, and. We took our lumps a few times in some of those games, but we also came out on top in some of those games where we played some really good teams. Went up to Hudsonville and played Hudsonville and Sterling Heights Stevenson when they were ranked. So I think on the season we've had that opportunity to play probably at least a handful of ranked teams at that time, and our kids believe, and they started the season in the rankings too, and they flirted with it in and out all season long. But when you play a really tough schedule, it's tough to get through. But like you said, at this side of the state, they're very passionate about their baseball, and it's been a great opportunity and to see some different competition. Like I said, I've been around the state and had that opportunity to coach in Oakland County and Macomb County, so I've seen a lot of good teams, and I've seen Orchard Lake St. Mary's. We lost to them in regionals when I was at Croswell Lexington. I was the head coach there. The year we lost 8-6 to Orchard Lake St. Mary's in regionals, and that was the year before COVID, and the year before we had a year off there. So, but that was the year before they went D1. So. But yeah, I've seen a lot of good teams, and I'm actually really excited to play Novi because having that opportunity to coach in Milford when I was at Milford, Rick Green was over there at Novi at that time, so I know Rick pretty well. He sells apparel. I've ordered some of my apparel from him over the years and stuff, so I'm excited to play Novi on tomorrow.
Yeah, that was my next question. Because again, for you guys, the road doesn't get any easier. From here on out. You've got a Novi team on Thursday morning that hasn't been in the state semifinals for 50 years. It's been a long time. So this will be a battle between two Wildcats, both schools named the Wildcats. Coach Green and his over 500 wins, he's bringing that to the table. And over their last three games, they've knocked off number 3 Northville, number 16 Heartland, number 7 Battle Creek Lakeview. So what's going to be the difference to propel a Mattawan team to its first ever state final?
For us, I think it just boils down to execution. I think that it's a very good matchup for us. I think that we're similar in a lot of ways. We rely a lot on our pitching. We've got, they've got 3-4 guys that they'll probably be able to throw tomorrow, and we've got 3 or 4 guys that we could also throw tomorrow. So I think it's going to be more of a pitching duel for us. And but like I said, offensively they're performing really well, and offensively we're performing pretty well, and we're able to execute. And like I said, I've coached against Rick for a number of years, and so I know they're going to be really well coached, and Rick does a great job over there, and we're going to go out and do our best. And like I said, I think we match up really well, and I'm excited to see whoever they throw against us, and then obviously who we're throwing against them. I think they match up pretty well, and like I said, our kids believe right now, and I believe in them, and so it shouldn't be anything different than that going out tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are there any guys who are going to get an opportunity to play at the next level on your squad?
Yeah, we've got quite a few. I've got Brendan Garza, who's a junior. He's committed to Ball State. I've actually got a freshman who's committed to Michigan, Caden Jomini.
Wow.
We've got another pitcher, Brendan Schultz, who's committed. We've got Brendan Schultz, I'm sorry, and then Blake Welch is signed to play at Lawrence Tech next year. So we've got quite a few guys that are moving on to play at the next level, and some guys that are still looking for some spots, and some guys that are going to go to community college next year. And Aiden Warren is probably one of those guys that's going to probably go to community college. And then we've got a couple other seniors that are. So most of our seniors are going to try to play at the next level. Some of them have passed on that opportunity and are just going to concentrate on their academics and move on next year to Michigan State and that kind of stuff. So we got two seniors that are going to Michigan State just for academics and so, but yeah, we've got quite a few kids, and I'm excited. I'm excited for obviously the next few days, but I'm excited for the future as well, because we've got a lot of. Our top 3 pitchers so far this year are all returning next year, so it's exciting it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, all of our programs sponsored by Lawrence Tech, so it's music to our ears when we hear that you've got you're sending one out here to the east side. We like that, or to the southeast side, I should say. Yeah. So anyway, before I let you go, can you talk about the Baseball Coaches Association, what it means for coaches to have the resource?
Sure. Yeah, I've been a member since I came in whatever it was, 03, 04. I've been an MHSBCA member. I'm at the conference every year. I think it's super important in what they do, and obviously a lot of those coaches are friends of mine, and I had a really unique opportunity, that year after, or 2 years ago, I got the opportunity to coach in the All-Star game, and that's all because of the Coaches Association, and having that ability and having that membership in the association allowed me to do that. And so it's been a great opportunity. It's a great resource. A lot of the guys, I know a few months ago you were interviewing Matt Fournier over there at Franklin. I watched that interview with him, and I'm good friends with Matt. We've been friends for 20 years, played baseball together, and then we got to coach together and that kind of stuff. So it's a really cool opportunity to network, and a great opportunity to meet new people and create new rivalries and that kind of stuff. So I've loved the opportunity, and I love the conference every January, going up there to Mount Pleasant and having that opportunity to learn from some good coaches. And I've seen a lot of positive presentations over the years, and with Gibson being up there in those 1984 Tigers, and those years are the years that are really memorable to me, and just kind of hearing their stories and that kind of stuff, and listening to those college coaches and learning. I try to take something away from that clinic every year, and I love that opportunity every year. And the MHSBCA has been nothing but supportive of everything that our coaches do on a daily basis.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to be there this year too, and it was great. It was fun to see the guys and see everything that goes on. I enjoyed the speakers and all of that. All right, well, Coach Vaughn, you got this far, so why not go ahead and just win the whole thing? Am I right?
That's exactly correct. We're going to do our best tomorrow against Novi, and then we're hopefully we'll see what happens between that Brownhaven and Macomb Dakota game, and hopefully we can see you there on tomorrow and see you there on Saturday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining us. We'll have all the Final Four and championship coverage here on State Champs, so good luck.
Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate it. Have a great day.